We see the main character, the artist Mallory, and she is pregnant. The girl is visited by her sister, named Jessica. From the news on TV we learn about unexplained mass suicides, which began in Siberia and are now spreading throughout Europe and America. Jessica offers to take the sister to a doctor at the clinic. At the doctor's examination, Mallory and Jessica joke around, however the doctor doesn't find them funny. At the end of the appointment, the doctor suggests that Mallory let someone adopt her child if the lady feels she is not ready for that responsibility. As she leaves the office, Mallory notices the woman she passed by earlier, but the woman is acting strangely and Mallory runs away. The girls get into the car, and at that moment total chaos begins to unfold on the street. People make accidents, so our heroines realize that the news is not lying, and the unknown disease is now spreading across America. Jessica drives her sister for a while, until her eyes take on a strange color and the girl herself becomes frightened by something only she herself can see. The lady keeps driving and Mallory tries to keep the car on the road, but the car flips onto its roof. The girls survive, but Jessica is in a trance. Mallory only has to watch as her sister gets up and blocks the path of the rushing truck. In a panic, Mallory runs in place with the crowd and then falls. A lady named Lydia runs out of the house to help the girl, even though her husband, Douglas, is against helping an unknown person. However, before Lydia can help Mallory up, the woman's consciousness begins to cloud over. The lady hears her mother's voice urging her to get into the hot car, which explodes moments later. A dark-skinned man, named Tom, helps our heroine up and they run into the house together, however they are followed by a police officer, named Lucy. We learn that Greg, the owner of the house, is in the house, as well as Jason and Samantha, who leave the house when they hear their son on the phone saying he is in danger. The other victims share information with each other about this mysterious something that has created the madness that is going on. Charlie suggests that this something is caused by demons that take the form of a person's deepest sadness or greatest loss in life. All people agree that something is invisible, but by opening their eyes, a person lets it in and may commit suicide. Mallory steps away from the group, and Tom follows the girl to help and comfort her. The woman tells Tom what happened to Jessica. Soon the group locks all the doors, and tapes off the windows with newspapers so they can't look outside. Soon a woman named Olympia knocks on the door. The lady begs to be let into the house. Douglas speaks out against opening the door. Mallory, just in case, grabs a rifle and stands at the ready. Closing their eyes, the group cautiously lets Olympia into the house. It turns out that the lady is also pregnant. Afterwards, Greg offers to watch what happens outside the house using the surveillance cameras placed on the front of the house. The group ties the man to a chair so Greg can't hurt himself. The man sits in front of the monitor, waiting to see something. At one point something appears on the screen, and moments later the group hears banging coming from the observation room. The men run to the noise, and upon opening the door they see Greg toppling over and smashing his head on the edge of a table to his death. The men smash a computer monitor to smithereens. At night, Olympia is alone with Mallory, and wonders what she would name her baby. However, the girl is not inclined to socialize, and just wants to be left alone. Pretty soon, the group runs out of food, and they realize that no one is coming to rescue them. Lucy, Charlie, Tom, Mallory and Douglas decide to go to the supermarket where Charlie used to work before the incident. The group paints over the car windows with paint, tapes up the cameras, and uses GPS so they don't move blind. On the road, the group feels like they are driving over bodies, but everyone tries to ignore it. Soon the GPS in the car starts warning of the possibility of collisions from all directions. A mysterious something surrounds our heroes. However, Tom still manages to drive the group to the supermarket. Our heroes disembark at the store, where they pick up as many provisions as they can carry. Mallory sees the surviving parrots, which she decides to take with her as pets. Suddenly, the group hears the voice of Charlie's former co-worker locked in a freezer. The man is begging to be let out. When the group opens the door, the man starts talking about how beautiful something is that she needs to be seen. Everyone realizes he's sick. The man goes insane while Lucy, Douglas and Tom try to close the freezer door and keep the madman out. Charlie looks into his colleague's eyes, sees something, and realizing he's doomed, throws himself at the man. they both end up trapped in the freezer. Charlie sacrificed himself so the others could go home. At night, Douglas and Mallory begin a short conversation on personal issues and worries. Suddenly, our heroes hear the sound of a car engine. Everyone runs to the garage and discovers that Lucy and Felix have stolen a car. The next day, Olympia, without consulting the group, lets a man named Harry into the house. All the residents of the house are on edge and are suspiciously studying and questioning Harry. The guest tells them that escaped patients from the mental hospital showed up after him and his friend, trying to force them both to look at the creatures. Harry's friend attacked one of the patients, and by doing so gave his friend a chance to slip away. Afterwards, Harry tells that outside many people do not wear blindfolds, people look at the creatures, and try to get others to see them as well. Douglas doesn't trust Harry and tries to get him out of the house at gunpoint, but Cheryl knocks him out and allows the unwelcome guest to stay in the house. Douglas is locked in the garage. Olympia tearfully apologizes for letting Gary in and says she feels she's burdening the group. However, Mallory calms the lady down and convinces her otherwise. Olympia asks Mallory to take care of her baby if anything should happen to her, and Mallory agrees. As time passes, Olympia and Mallory go into labor at the same time. While Cheryl and Tom are helping the girls, Gary pulls a bunch of drawings of the creatures out of his suitcase and starts laying them out on the table. It now becomes clear that Gary is one of the crazy people who have seen the creatures and wants the creatures to be seen by all people. Afterward, the man takes the cage of birds and puts it in the refrigerator. Gary tears the paper off the windows, while Douglas watches the whole thing through the glass in the door. The trapped hero tries to inform Tom, who is passing by, but Gary gets to him before he does, knocking him out with a punch to the back of the head. Gary also opens the garage door to try and get rid of Douglas. During this time, Olympia gives birth to a girl and Mallory gives birth to a boy. Gary enters the room and raises the blinds in front of Olympia. Mallory begs Olympia to hand over the baby before the inevitable happens. Olympia hands over the baby, moments before jumping out the window. Gary then forces Cheryl to look outside, revealing the lady's eyes, and lets something in. Cheryl kills herself with the scissors she cut her umbilical cord with a few minutes ago. Douglas enters with a shotgun, but can't shoot as he has to close his eyes. However, the man manages to shoot Gary in the arm, but it doesn't save him from falling and dying from the scissors. Tom, who has come to his senses, sees the shotgun and tries to grab the gun, but Gary reaches for it from the other side. Gunshots are heard, and Mallory hides under a blanket. The woman is joined in the room by survivor Tom. 5 years pass. Mallory and Tom live in a place and raise 2 children. From time to time, the couple watches sick people outside driving around in cars without blindfolds and with the windows open. At night, our surviving heroes receive a radio message from a man named Rick. The man assures them that he is in a safe place, with plenty of supplies, food and water. The man instructs the pair on how to get to the shelter. The fastest way is to raft down the river, but to go there with the children is certain death, as the way is dangerous and they have to swim blindfolded. To find shelter, Rick suggests floating down the river for a couple days and then going to the sound of birdsong. Tom considers going to that shelter, but Mallory fears it might be a trap. Outside, the noise from the cars is once again blaring. It turns out that sick people have arrived, but this time they plan to attack the house. Tom goes outside to confront the people, while Mallory and the children quietly go out the back door. The intruders tell Tom to take off his blindfold. But when the sick people spot Mallory and the children, Tom opens fire and eliminates 3 of the marauders with the first shots. Then Tom removes his blindfold and takes out 2 more before running in pursuit of the leader, who is chasing Mallory. Something begins to affect Tom, but the man fights for enough time, which is just enough time for him to defeat the leader. Eventually, the man points the gun at himself, letting Mallory know that Tom is gone. Mallory gathers the children and puts them in a boat to float down the river. As they float down the river, a woman hears a voice saying that it is safe to remove her blindfold, but Mallory forbids the children to do so. The heroes meet a man who claims he has food and that he has seen the creature and there is no reason to fear it. Mallory pulls out a gun and fires blindly. The man attacks the girl and tries to remove the blindfold from her eyes. Mallory fights him, and with her last strength wins. After a long journey, Mallory stops rowing, wanting to take a break. However, the boat soon collides with a sunken truck, and the boy falls out of the boat. But Mallory pulls him out, and tries to warm him up. To our hero's great misfortune, the food and blankets are washed away by the current, so the heroine does what she can. Having docked at the shore, the girl leaves the children in the boat, and heads into the woods to look for food. Mallory enters a building where she hears a noise and sees objects moving by themselves under the influence of a mysterious force. The girl manages to get out of the building, but something follows her, continuing to whisper her name. Mallory fires her gun into the air. At this time, a little girl hears the shots and leaves the boat to help Mallory. But the mother manages to save her daughter at the last moment, dives into the boat and swims away. After sailing the river for 2 days, our heroes began to approach the rapids. The boat reaches the choppy waters that Mallory has to overcome. Unfortunately, the boat capsizes and all the passengers end up in the water. Mallory panics and searches for the children. But soon the lady finds the boy in the water, while the girl has swum a little farther away and is waiting for her mother. Soon we see the 3 survivors walking through the forest, where something whispers to the heroes and uses all her power to convince them to open their eyes and look. But Mallory's powers prove stronger, and the girl forces the children to listen only to her, not the entity. Our heroes follow the birdsong until they finally reach the shelter. Something surrounds our family as they try to go inside, but the door opens and the family in the shelter. The residents of the asylum check Mallory and the children's eyes before taking them in, and then they meet Rick. Mallory discovers that the asylum is a school for the blind, and the people there are protected from entities. Mallory and the kids then see Dr. Lapham, who happily greets the newcomers. Mallory says that these are her children and she is their mother. The mother opens a box of birds to join the other birds in the sanctuary. This is the end of the movie. Thank you all for watching this video to the end. Give this video a like. Write in the comments what you think about this movie, and see you in new videos.